You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day, we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, June 13th, 2019. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Thursday. The first thing to know is oil prices jump after suspected tanker attack in the Gulf of Oman. Oil prices jumped more than 2% on Thursday after reports of attacks on oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. Crew members were evacuated from the ships, which were near the Strait of Hormuz, a major strategic waterway through which a fifth of global oil consumption passes from Middle East producers. The news sparked a recovery in oil prices that had plunged nearly 4% on Wednesday after a surprising and large increase in U.S. crude inventories spurred further concerns over the state of demand. OPEC is expected to release its monthly oil market report at 6:40 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, which will provide the cartel's outlook on supply and demand. The second thing to know today is China calls for more stimulus amid trade standoff. China's Vice Premier Liu He on Thursday called for regulators to increase economic support and provide ample liquidity to the world's second largest economy as it digs in for a protracted dispute with the U.S. Beijing has plenty of policy tools and is capable of dealing with various challenges, Reuters reported Liu as saying at a financial forum in Shanghai. Liu's remarks suggest China is preparing further economic policies to bolster growth to offset the impact on its export sector from U.S. tariffs and boycotts. China's Commerce Ministry said on Thursday, Beijing will not yield to any maximum pressure from Washington, and any attempt by the U.S. to force China into accepting a trade deal will fail. The third thing to know today is global stocks overshadowed by oil developments. Global stocks were mixed as market participants focused on headlines surrounding the suspected tanker attacks. Pre-open, U.S. futures pointed to a higher open, anticipating a bounce in energy stocks that have taken a battering in recent days. Investors will likely continue to weigh any rising tension on trade issues against the hopes that the Federal Reserve will ease monetary policy. Elsewhere, European stocks climbed as the region's second big auction of 5G spectrum drove telecoms higher and oil producers benefited from the surge in crude prices. Asian shares were mixed, although Hong Kong's Hang Seng ended flat, putting an end to Wednesday's slide caused by violence between protesters and police over an extradition bill. The fourth thing to know today is expectations for a Fed rate hike in July tick higher ahead of data. Thursday's economic calendar will produce weekly jobless claims, along with forecasts for easing price pressures on both imports and exports. Both reports have been released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Although the Fed is expected to stand pat on interest rates in its policy decision next week, markets have steadily increased bets that the U.S. Central Bank will move to cut at the following July meeting as worries over Sino-U.S. trade tensions dent the global economy. Fed fund futures priced in a quarter-point reduction on July 31st at 87%, up from 68% last week and around 26% a month ago. A weak employment report released last Friday and tame inflation measure reached this week have helped to cement those expectations. The fifth thing to note today is new stock listings on watch: Alibaba, Fiverr, and Chewy. Alibaba was reported to have confidentially filed for a Hong Kong listing that could take place as soon as the third quarter. Speculation last month suggested the Chinese e-commerce company could raise as much as $20 billion in a move that offers it a measure of insurance against any possible crackdown on Chinese companies listed in the U.S. Fiverr, meanwhile, priced its initial public offering at $21 on Thursday, above last week's projection of $18 to $20. The IPO price will raise more than $110 million for the Israeli-based online freelancer platform, valuing the gig economy company at $650 million. Shares should start trading this Friday on Wall Street with the ticker FDRR. Meanwhile, online pet food company Chewy raised its target range late Wednesday to $19 to $21 a share from $17 to $19. It's expected to price after the closing bell Thursday and start trading Friday under the ticker CHWY. The second story today is from MarketWatch.com. Beyond Meat is at risk as competitors like Impossible Burger take root. Investors want another helping of Beyond Meat stock, with shares up another 12.6% in Wednesday trading. The competition in the plant-based and meat alternative categories could take a bite out of Beyond Meat's stratospheric growth. Since going public last month, Beyond Meat's stock was up 116% as of Wednesday's close and has hit the short squeeze trifecta as lending fees continue to go higher. But Beyond Meat isn't the only plant-based meat on the market, and it's facing risks from the competition. According to data provided by SEMrush, a content marketing platform for the year spanning April 18th to April 2018 to April 2019, Impossible Burger, another plant-based burger option from Impossible Foods, Inc., was searched on Google an average of 171% more than Beyond Burger. And just as talk about the Beyond Meat IPO was picking up steam in April, Impossible Burger was searched 400% more than Beyond Burger. Beyond Meat began trading on May 2nd. Our final story today is from Reuters.com. Is Bitcoin growing up? Regulated futures boom as investors seek a safer ride. When Bitcoin was born, it was a symbol of counterculture, a rebel currency with near anonymity and a lack of regulation. A decade later, there are growing signs it's entering the establishment its creators sought to subvert. As the cryptocurrency has surged in value, bigger investors, from trading firms to hedge funds, have increasingly turned to exchanges regulated in traditional financial centers. They're buying Bitcoin futures to gain exposure to the asset while avoiding the hacks and heists that plague the industry. The crypto market, associated by many with the dark web, money laundering, and the Wild West, is beginning to be discussed by financiers in the same breath as derivatives, hedging instruments, and compliance. Investors plowed record levels of money into Bitcoin futures at regulated exchanges in the United States and Britain last month, hungry for a piece of the action, but seeking the kind of protection that will satisfy their compliance officers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, June 13th, 2019, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli, Trade Smarts, and have a great day.
The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.